I don't care because I had a little trim. You know the little thumbnail.
Oh, I see.
Yes,
What's bothering me right now is
beautiful. All of you are
I'm
beautiful.
here.
Listen,
You know what I mean?
I know what you
we're
mean, but
going to go over
the team
the
is
five
whoever
pillars
shows
of
up.
wealth. As we're doing that, as we're getting situated, as we are waiting for more people to hop
See?
online here so you don't miss a single word of the five pillars of wealth presentation. You're going to have to, you have to get a pen and paper right now. If you have a stylus and an iPad, stylus, and a cell phone or smartphone, go ahead and please
I have to make sure
get
that
that right
next
now
year, that's the main
as
thing.
we prepare
And this
to
last
make
week when I was
sure
presenting.
that you get value what we're doing right now and implement it in your circles. And of course, if you need help with that, I'm always here, credit whiz at investorpro.org. That's
My guy
CREDITWIZ
shows up late 'cause he
at
works till 7.
symbol, right? At symbol,
If I did this real quick, I can't do this.
investorpro.org. All right.
It's not,
So we
it's not
definitely
the,
want you to tune in. All right.
here's
We
where the
want
main
you
thing is.
to
What you can do that's
be
compliant,
motivated.
you
We
can
want
do,
you to implement,
you
okay,
can do,
This is
what
other
we
like
are
this
educating you
quick
about today.
helping
All right.
mindset.
Yeah. So
If I just
if you
did
have
this
any
slide,
questions, don't hesitate. You can go ahead and ask right now.
what do you
We're
think?
here
I think
right
it's fine.
now. Go ahead
I'm,
and ask those questions.
one of those people,
Absolutely.
compliance
You know what
is
we're
what you
gonna
make
do?
it.
We are actually planning
Meaning, like, it's not
on
about intent.
doing two a week. So we're planning on that. That's coming up soon, okay? So don't be concerned with that. We will make sure that that happens there for you. So like I said, folks, get a pen, get a paper. If you have a stylus and an iPad or a stylus and a smartphone, you're gonna want to take copious notes tonight because we are going to be going over the five pillars of wealth. Can anyone name the five pillars of wealth right now? Can you name one of them? Let's go ahead and just name one of the five pillars of wealth. And I'll go ahead and wait until you get situated, until you got that pen, you got that paper, or you have that stylus and that smart device. Okay, so you can take copious notes from what we will be sharing tonight. If you have any comments, please drop them below. Like, subscribe so that you don't miss a single webinar. We're going to be going to two webinars a week so that we can continue to provide you some value. Thank you so much to Tony. Tony wants to get started with the velocity banking method, real estate investing, that financial triad. What is the financial triad? What is that? Real estate investing, business credit, and velocity banking. That's the financial triad that people are implementing in their lives, and they're seeing that this is what the experts mean, right? When they say, have your money make money, right? Real estate investing, business credit, velocity banking. Okay. Say it with me. Real estate investing, business credit, velocity banking. All right. Okay, so let me just share something with you right now as people are gathering their things together. They may be putting, um, you know, resting, maybe sitting on the sofa as you're collecting your things to watch this. Hello, go ahead. All right. What state are you from? Holler it out. And I'll go ahead and show you some love right here on the YouTube channel. We're going to be discussing the five pillars of wealth. And of course, one of those five are going to be what? What? Man, oh my goodness. That's serious, isn't it? Tax strategies. You got to know how to keep your wealth. All right. So one of the things that I love about my CPAs, right, is that they don't just do masses, right? They educate you through emails. Hello, Daryl. Oh, super. Hi, Daryl, California is in the house. Absolutely. But that's what I love about my CPAs is that they educate us, right? As well as perform what they need to on our tax. All right. That way we know what they're doing, you know why they're doing. Hey, Trevor from Brampton, Ontario, Canada. Good to have you with us, Trevor. Awesome. Awesome. All the way from Canada. And let me tell you, we have clients in Canada as well. This stuff works, folks. Okay. The LLCs, we can give you information on how to establish that, how to establish the business credit. Tonight, we're going to be going over the five. Okay. The five pillars of wealth. Just gave you one of them. And I was talking about how tax consultants. Hey, Pizzo, it's good to see you. Tax consultants, make sure you have one that is not afraid to educate you. Absolutely. They send you emails, they send you newsletters on the latest tax strategies that can not only save you, but maybe you can place some of that capital into another endeavor or another entity. People, tax consultants that will get real with you and say, you know, maybe you should try this. You know, a tax, not only a consultant, but a tax strategist. Boy, that's what I recommend. I recommend that, man. And you know what? You don't have to wait until next year. You can start that right now. If you need any recommendations, I know, right? People who are really, they're stellar at educating the public. This is what they do. Mark Kohler, of course, is one of them. Shauna Vinkerline, all right, she's another one over there in Scottsdale, Arizona. And boy, there's just so many tax consultants that can help you not only consult, right, and do your taxes, but also strategize so that you know where every dollar, right, should be. Okay, and in this case, we want most of those dollars coming back to us. We want those tax deductions, right? We want to be able to pay our kids, all right? Let's get some tax deductions going on, all right? We want to perform a real estate cash flow quadrant. Does anybody know what the real estate cash flow quadrant looks like? Now, many of you are already familiar with the cash flow quadrant by Robert Kiyosaki, right? How that in the left upper corner there's the employee mindset, and then the on the bottom, right, it's the self-employed, right, and then at the upper right hand corner of the square, the cash flow quadrant, there is the business owner, right, and then in the lower right hand corner it's the investor. And of course, Robert Kiyosaki says that you should be right columns and not in the left hand columns. Why is that? Because you don't want to work your time, you don't want to work your life away, right? You want your assets to work their lives away. You know, let them work for you while you take vacations, while you host webinars, right? While you are busy educating the public. All right? Absolutely. Business ownership and investors, that's where we want to be. All right. Now, when I talk about the real estate cash flow quadrant, I'm talking about the mortgage as well as the appreciation, as well as the cash flow and the tax deductions. All right. That's what I'm talking about there. I tell you, has anybody ever heard of HELOCs? All right. Home equity lines of credit. That's what you want, folks. And I can send you some questions to ask the bank so that you get the best HELOC for you. You don't want a HELO. Okay. Watch this. And you've already heard this, but you say no to the HELO. Okay. Say with me. Say no to the HELO. Let's say yes to the HELOC. All right. So I just wanted to get you um, started on the right foot. Okay, on the right foot. If any of you are looking to get a HELOC going, go ahead and email me creditwiz@investorpro.org. I'll go ahead and send you out some questions that you need to ask the bank, right? Hey, is this right? You know, are you this, and this? Now I'll send you out those questions, all right? All right, man. All right, folks, listen, without further ado, all right, I'm going to go ahead and turn this over back to the founders. I call them the founders. All right. So let's do it right now. Here it is. We're going to be talking about the four currencies and, of course, much more than that. So here we go. Take it away.
Hello, Team Laysdale. Thanks
Yes.
for coming out tonight.
Step
We
a
have-
little that way, you got
We
the
have a
light now.
wonderful
Perfect.
presentation tonight with our special guest star, Joseph Smith. We're always happy to have him. And he's going to bring you a lot of information with the 5 pillars of wealth, which is going to
This is gonna be
help
amazing.
you in your current business, or if you're starting a business, you need to have this information up front. And you'll understand why the wealthy have businesses.
Nice.
Small business is the answer. But I don't want to give this information. I want to bring up my husband, John Gill.
Yes.
Give us an introduction. You want to share some information with us tonight?
I do.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm going to hand out the May calendar to everyone, okay?
Hey,
Yep.
all right, everyone, thank you so much for joining us here tonight and our online audience. as well. We're privileged to share this information with you. It's done great things tonight, and we just want to look at a couple things real quick before the main event and kind of get our mind in the right mindset. That's a pun you'll see. That's
Yes.
what we want to do. We want to create financial freedom through real estate investing. And my wife and I are on the track to doing that, as well as any of the other members in our team through the Renatus education system that we've all belong to. So, creating financial freedom through real estate investing. Real quick, want everybody to understand that there are actually 4 currencies that we work with.
You're not on camera, but if you were over there on that side of the Renata sign,
Okay.
you'd probably be
All
on
right,
camera.
let's get over here. All right, so 4 currencies we want to work with in our business. Money, obviously, is a great currency,
Yes.
wonderful.
Woo!
Oh, yeah.
But we also have time, because we trade our time for our money.
Yes.
We trade our money for time. The more one of you have less of the other typically, so.
That's right.
We knowledge, obviously, is a currency. Things we know, we can trade for money, we can trade for time. So we try to acquire knowledge, all that we can through our whole lives. A lifetime of learning is what we're after, which is also what Renatus offers us. So relationships are also a wonderful currency. We've used that currency many times in our business dealings, and these are all foundational things that we do to operate our business. These currencies, they all work well together. But one thing, obviously, everybody has been given the same amount of time. So it's kind of a special thing. It becomes very valuable. The busier, more you have on your plate, obviously time becomes extremely valuable. So knowing what these 4 currencies are, let's talk about our focus. What do we focus on? What you focus on is what you get in your business. So we want to look at 2 main things. There's a wealthy mindset and a poor mentality, or a poor mindset. So this doesn't mean that you're poor. This means you don't think like the wealthy people do.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
You may be middle class, you may be doing well, you may be doing everything that you were taught to do, but it's still a poor mentality. It's not wealthy thinking patterns. So what the poor do, the poor mentality, they focus on their debt. They acquire debt because they typically will, they themselves are a human resource. They work for an hourly wage or a salary. They have a 9-to-5 job. They're either labor, direct labor, indirect labor. They hire themselves out. They sell their time, trade their time for money, and acquire things through debt, which the banks love this setup because they continually offer credit to human resources bring them into debt, and then they kind of become slaves to them. So, I mean, we do this right out of the high school. We start practicing this is what the banks and our economic system has brought us into. Get a job, get credit, start buying stuff, and stay on that path for the rest of your life, right?
Right.
And we focus on our liabilities, obviously, the things that we acquired through credit. Our house. 3x, what is 3?
How much you'll actually pay for the life of the loan.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
You'll actually pay 3 times more for your house over the life. If you do it the conventional way that people buy houses with a mortgage, you'll pay the house 3 times. All your stuff, these are liabilities, things that take money away from you, they don't provide any money back to you. Corporations love this because they're continually producing new things for you, new products, new liabilities that you absolutely have to have. Gotta have that new phone, gotta have that new tablet, that new boat, new wheels, new vehicle. So we gotta keep up with the Joneses. Corporations, this works very well for them. The other place that our money goes is taxes. 50% of your income will go out in taxes approximately.
Oh, that's
In every
disheartening.
form of tax. When you think about all the different taxes there are, name some taxes, people.
Gas
Property
tax.
Property tax, gasoline tax,
Uh,
alcohol tax,
you know, all of your consumption taxes, death tax,
consumption taxes, death taxes. Did we say property taxes?
Yeah. Oh,
Income
yeah.
taxes.
but at the federal, state, local,
Yeah,
and
federal, state,
municipal,
local level,
City,
income
yeah.
taxes,
Mhm.
sales taxes.
and all your fees that go with it.
Yeah,
Like I said,
so
taxes and insurance.
all
Good
that adds
job,
up a lot,
Carl. Yeah.
especially if you live in New York.
Oh my goodness.
Taxes is crazy, and they never go down. No, really. Okay, so the government loves this, it operates our government, obviously, so these are the 3 things that suck all of our money, and they did this to me for years and years.
And they suck. Those are the 3 things that suck.
Okay, so this is where our money goes. You know, when I was about 45 years old, 46 years old,
That's your cash flow.
yeah, I had
Stop
to-
sucking.
I had a change of life, and I went through a bunch of my old pay stubs and all my old bills and all my records that I kept, and I was going through them. And I said, "Man, look where all this money goes: the cable, the phone, electric, car, the insurance, everything goes to one of these 3 places." And I wasn't doing very well. My 401k that was a gamble. It all fell apart. I never produced very much with my 401k. I let other people manage it. I didn't pay attention to it myself.
401 not
So
okay.
what the wealthy people do, let's talk back up real quick. Wealthy mentality. I knew people who thought about money differently, and these people were different. I knew a kid when I got out of college. I just went to a 2-year college, trade school. And there was a guy that we all got out. We were 20, 21 years old. But this guy did something different. He bought land. Like, Dave, why would you do that? Don't you want a Camaro? No, he didn't want a Camaro. He wanted land. I'm like, Dave's weird, okay? Dave's buying land. Well, and Dave buys invests in the stock market. So like, there's something wrong with that guy. So he doesn't even have chrome wheels on his car. So the wealthy, what do the wealthy focus on? They focus on income systems. And that's what Dave was doing. He was creating income systems with real estate. He was creating income systems with his investment portfolio at a young age. Okay, not the 1%, the 99%, right? So they also, instead of acquiring liabilities, they acquire appreciating assets such as land and the stock portfolio. So these things produce cash flow for him, which allows him to acquire more appreciating assets, which produce more cash flow, and exponentially it grows and grows. And by the time we were the same age, by the time we were in our 40s, he was doing extremely well. I had nothing. at my pride, so. And I still laughed at him because I thought, there's more to life than money, Dave. Which there is, praise the Lord. But, it's foolish to think like, to follow like sheep or mentality.
That's right.
We gotta learn to think like wealthy. Take control of our own future, take control of our own money. And we, also, the wealthy are focused on write-offs, things that minimize their tax liability. This is extremely important and it's very lucrative for business owners. So the wealthy people are able to focus on abundance and opportunity, like my friend Dave, where scarcity and fear of loss. Do you know that by the time I'm guessing around 45 years old, I was homeless. Yeah, I had screwed up so bad. I was actually homeless, living with a friend, had nothing, lost everything that I'd worked for all those years to acquire. So, anyhow, requires a change. So this came along. Began to think and see differently. Up here, I can help other people. Down here, I couldn't help myself. I had to rely on the kindness of friends and strangers to help me. So, and God got me on the right track. Hallelujah. Got me in my mind right.
Praise the Lord.
Praise the Lord. And when Renatus came into my life, that transformed everything because now my mind was right. I was able to think clearly and start doing things that were positive in my life and for my future because now, guess what? I had like 20 years to get it together and produce some kind of a legacy wealth and a retirement for myself, for my wife. I had to do it, start from nothing at 45 years old. So, where is your focus? Let me give you an example real quick before we bring up Joseph Smith. Appreciating assets, income systems. The facility that we're in right now, it belongs to me. It's an income system. We bought a commercial triplex. It has 3 suites. We kept one for ourselves. It's a large suite. We created a conference and event center. Now we use it for an office. We use it as a presentation center, but it also is an income system for us. Not only our business, which is an income system, but the building that our business is in itself a separate income system. It's a cash flowing income system. It's an appreciating asset. So when we're not here on Wednesday nights, or if we're not here on Monday nights, Thursdays, whatever, we work our schedule around our renters and our conference and event guests. So it's a wonderful setup. Real estate works. It's awesome, and I hope this is a good segue into what Mr. Joseph Smith is going to teach us tonight. So without any further words, I'd like to introduce him. Mr. Joseph, man, it started companies. He started one called 1,000 Doors, right? Which is a buy and hold company. Is growing, creating rental properties. Wise Guys and Ties, which is a business credit consulting firm. And the third,
JJJNR.
JJJR.
Fix and flip.
Fix and flips. He flips houses. So do I. Flipping houses is awesome. Flipping houses is what got us to here. Is what got us in this building. We leveraged an IRA money of my wife's into our first fix and flip, and we did it again. We produced a nice nest egg to get this building, get it remodeled. Now we've got an appreciating asset and an income system. Okay, 2 fix and flips got us into this. 4,400 square foot, brand new remodel. So
Amazing.
Joseph Smith, another man, starts just like me, started from nothing,
Yes.
probably
Yes.
less than nothing, a little bit of debt.
Yes.
Awesome, let's bring him up and pay close
All
attention.
All right, thanks. Let's cut this presentation. But I love income systems, appreciating assets, write-offs. Love it, love it, love it. Always great to be here in Sierra Vista. Must be Tuesday night because I'm here in Sierra Vista. But also, hello and welcome, YouTube. Love all of you. I've been working with a lot of you, seeing your lives transform and change.
Yes.
Oh man, we got so much to talk about today. But I wanted to talk about real quick because I'm going to go into a lot of stuff here on the whiteboard.
Yes.
But let me tell you about what I did today.
Yes. Yes.
Today started off with an epic Nerf dart gun war. I'm talking about 1,000 darts fired between my wife, myself, and my boys. Then after that, we went and got, of course, for breakfast some Chick-fil-A, because I mean, that's just where you go for breakfast. Then after that, we went and saw Avengers
Hey, the
Endgame.
pink lady. Oh no.
How
No,
cool
you
is that?
didn't.
Avengers Endgame. So let me tell you how it ends. No, I'm no, you can just watch some other YouTube video. I'm sure they're talking about it. Great movie. After that, we went to Peter Piper Pizza, played, did skee ball, shot some basketball, and did all kinds of fun stuff. Got a whole bunch of tickets. It's really cool. I'm telling you. And here's the best part about it. Oh, my business partner. I know a lot of you have seen Ray, right? You know Ray, right?
I know, Ray.
Oh,
Yeah. Well, he's on the beach right now. His wife's sipping mimosas. He's on the beach in Rocky Point, just with his feet up. And while I had the day that I had today, our business brought in, while we weren't even working it, we brought in over $10,000 today. Is that cool?
That's cool.
Anybody want to have the day like I had and still get a $10,000 payday? Is that cool?
That is cool.
That's talking about like what my dad was talking about, income systems. And that's how that stuff happens, right?
Wow.
So let's talk, because I don't want to work and find a new form of, yeah, hey, you could learn how to do real estate, you could learn how to do that. But if it ends up being a 60, 70, 80 hour a week job, I mean, you're just going to trade one misery for another, right? I do what I love, but it creates time freedom for me so that I can have the Nerf dart gun wars,
Yes.
so that I can go out and see, who can set aside 3 hours in a day to go see Avengers. Man, and by the way, make sure that you go to the bathroom right before the movie starts. It's very important. It's 3 hours long. Okay.
Wow.
So, but that's so critical to have the kind of business that gives you the freedom to do what you want, when you want to do it, with the people you want to do it with. Is that the kind of freedom we want to have?
Yes.
Oh, I'm just telling you. I'm thinking about today because when we were going, I mean, today is a Tuesday, right? I went to Peter Piper Pizza. There was nobody there, right? Everybody was working when I was there, but we had free run of all the video games and everything. It was great. And I went and saw the matinee. There was like 4 people in there. I had the whole movie theater to myself and my family. It's just awesome.
Emily said, "Love you too."
Isn't she awesome?
awesome, man.
Man, every day should start with a Nerf dart gun war. I'm convinced. It was so awesome today. Yeah. Okay, so I want to talk to you about the 5 pillars of wealth. Why? Because my dad was telling you about what you focus on is what you get. Do you want to focus on the 5 pillars of poverty or the 5 pillars of wealth? Right? We're going to focus because these are income systems. All right? That's all it is. A system is something that if you understand how it works, like you understand an electrical system, you understand a computer system, once you know how it works, you're a pro to some. I mean, think about how you know how to program the your TiVo,
Yes.
right? You know how to do the DVR. Well, if you go back in time, there was times where it used to be a VCR. No one knew how to program those things, right? But if you knew how to do it, you were the person that everyone came to. That's how systems are. Financial systems are like that. And we're going to go over these financial systems. The wealthy get it. They know how the systems work. They leverage these systems to their advantage. And it's us, people who are not in the wealthy mindset, who don't know how these systems work, and we get taken advantage of. These systems take advantage of us. I don't want these systems taking advantage of any of you here in Sierra Vista. I don't want them taking advantage of any of you here in YouTube. So we're going to learn these systems and start making progress towards understanding and leveraging them to our advantage. So what are these systems, right? What are these systems? Well, I said there's 5 of them. So I'm just going to jump right in. I don't know if you can see the board. I'm going to bring it up closer for you here.
Perfect.
Is that good? Okay. First thing we're going to go over, taxes. Taxes. Would we all agree that every dollar of the United States economy flows through this system, big time?
Big
All
time.
right? Taxes, it's so important. But for us to understand the taxes system, for me to even scratch a dent here, we got to understand that there's a couple other systems. There's a banking system, right? And there is there's business, right? I've got 2 more, but this is the size of the board I was given, okay? So 3 on this side, each one on the other side. All right, so I'm going to go over it. To take advantage of the tax system, we've really got to understand a lot of things here. But here, first, man, it's April 30th. Got their taxes done. So everybody filled out one, right?
1040.
Right? Had your income, your deductions. What's this down here? The bottom line. You ever hear someone says, "What's the bottom line?" Right? Right here. This is what they're talking about. The bottom line. This is it. AGI. What's that stand for? YouTube? I know you in the audience here know. Come on. AGI.
What does AGI stand for?
Come on. Group participation today.
We got Super Baton Los Angeles in the house.
AGI.
The
What's it
Pink
stand
Lady
for?
Barber's in the house.
Right?
AGI. What is AGI?
All right. Avengers get Infinity Stones. Right? That was one answer that came in. No, that's not quite. That was from my son.
Average gross income?
All right.
Adjusted gross income.
Adjusted gross income.
Oh, I didn't know you were doing
So-
taxes.
Think about how we live our lives, folks. We pay our taxes, and then we go and we buy stuff. Right? Think about the stuff that we buy. Anybody remember when phones used to look like this?
I remember that.
Right? I mean, we just have the stuff that we have.
Good job, Keisha. That's exactly what it stands for. Adjusted gross income.
Right. So how many of us pay for a cell phone? How many of us pay for a car? How many of us pay for a house or mortgage or rent? Right? We pay our taxes and then we pay for all these things after our taxes. This is an inefficient way to live our lives. What leveraging the tax system is understanding how to turn the things in your life, like your cell phone, your car, like your house, your mortgage, how to turn that into a tax write-off. But we can't do it. Hey, if you're a W-2 employee, right? Got your W-2, how many tax write-offs do you have access to? I mean, how many deductions is the standard? Right? Somewhere between 10 to 15.
Oh my word.
No, I mean, I mean, you have to be got all kinds of things going to be.
That's depressing.
Right, 10 to 15 write-offs. Right, and what that does is that allows you to take your gross income and adjust it down, and then you're taxed on a smaller amount. That's W-2. What about
I said two.
what about business owners?
Good answer, Carl.
What about business owners? How many write-offs do business owners, like real estate investors, how many tax write-offs do they have? YouTube?
It's gonna blow your mind.
Sierra Vista?
Guess.
400?
The Pink Lady, I agree with you.
300.
I have 300.
Do we have any
That's
higher than
200.
300?
What
Any
else?
lower than 200? 300. Going? Oh my goodness.
Over 400 write-offs.
Keisha said hundreds. Good job, Keisha. Wow.
I mean, think about this.
Over 400.
You guys, I don't know, maybe some of you on YouTube remember my story, but my first year being a real estate investor, getting educated and starting a marketing business, I added an additional $41,000 to my salary. Additional $41,000. You're like, yeah, woo! And then come January, or actually right at the end, maybe right first week of February, I get a letter from the IRS saying that I owe an $8,000 tax bill. Well, that would have been easy to pay if I was just still had the $41,000 sitting in the bank, right? But I made the money and then I spent the money. So who here wants to make money and then get an $8,000? If you got an $8,000 tax bill today in the mail, who can pay it?
Woo!
Well, I can't take advantage of these $400 write-offs if I didn't over here start a business, right? Number one tax strategy is start a business, right? I started, an LLC, which, later became an S Corp, right? You got to start a business. It's the number one tax strategy. We're going to come back to business over here, but, I can't tell you about taxes because I'm starting on taxes, but, to take advantage of that, I had to start a business first. So, got my business started, and to finish the story, I filed a 36-page tax filing. So my tax filing was 36 pages long. Now, of the $8,000 that the IRS said that I owed, how much did I have to pay?
4,000.
I had one for half,
2,000.
$2,000.
Okay, 1,000.
All right.
How much did he have
All
to
right,
pay?
I had 4, I have 2, now I have 1. What else do we got?
Last call.
I got someone saying I didn't have to pay anything at all. Hey, how about this, folks? I got $2,000 back.
What?
That's a $10,000 swing. Think about that.
Wow.
So I made $41,000 extra in my income. I supplemented it, and I got to keep $41,000. Right? And on top of that, I got paid, an additional $2,000. Now, how it works is I did pay all my taxes.
that's right.
But when I adjust with my adjusted gross income, here's what happened. Everything that was with the phone came up above the line. Everything for the car came up above the line. Everything for the house, well, maybe not everything, but a huge percentage of everything that went for the house went above the line.
There's an expense.
And so everything above the line means that I can write it off. That's a good thing. And everything I pay for down here, well, that's a bad thing. That costs me money. So what I learned and this is why I had 36 pages of doing it the right way, is how to turn my life into a tax write-off. I mean, would you like to be able to go out to eat and have that be a write-off? Would you like to travel and have that be a write-off? Would you like to be able to, if you have children, would you like to be able to write off diapers,
Yep.
prom dresses? It's prom season.
Uh-oh.
Anybody got a daughter? I have a daughter, right?
Yeah.
Prom dresses, they're expensive, right?
You can write it
I
off.
gotta go pay a whole bunch of money tomorrow for a prom dress, right? But would you like that to be a cost, or would you like that to be a cost of doing business and be able to write that off? There's a legitimate way where you can use write-offs like this. You can pay your family if they're a part of your business and they're doing work for your business. How cool is that?
That's awesome.
Oh, man. So,
Carl said you can write off the whole family. There you go, Carl.
that's right.
That's right.
Oh, and you don't have to
Mom,
stop at
Dad,
your kids. Anybody who's a dependent. You got mom and dad living with you,
All right.
grandma and grandpa living with you.
Boom.
Hey, they can shred paper. Right? They can lick stamps and put them on an envelope. There's jobs that you can anybody, a niece and anybody you want to bring into your business can pay them money. If you were going to give them money anyway, might as well get a tax write-off for it, right? The number one Christmas
Carl.
gift
That's awesome.
that the number one Christmas gift I plan to give my family this year are 1099s. They're going to thank me for it. Let me give you an example as to how this works. So, what? follow along here. But so so I started a business over here, right? Let's see. One of my business is guys in ties, right? I had it purchase a truck. Okay, it's a much cooler looking truck than that, but that's all you
That's
get.
close though. You're about
Hey,
there. I
You
saw
know,
it.
this is the kind of artwork you get. This is all you paid for today, so this is the artwork you get. So I purchased this truck. This is a new truck for 15,000. Okay, so truck is purchased, but now it's going to be leased all the way over here. Follow the arrow. I'm going to lease it over here to another business of mine, right? Called J-Team, right? So the truck was purchased over there, but now it's over here. And of course, I've got, a lease payment. I got to pay insurance. I've got to pay maintenance, gas, right? I got to pay for all this stuff. All of this I'm paying for. So take a look at how this works out. How cool is it? So first of all, hey, can wise guys in ties write off $15,000 for the purchase of a company vehicle that it's using solely for the purpose of leasing out money? Right?
Legally?
Yes.
Legally?
And it can write it off because it is going to, you see, here's the important thing. We all talk about write-offs. You have to make money. But is there a lease payment going back to wise guys in ties?
Yes.
So wise guys making money,
Yeah.
they can. So here, the lease
See what
is
I mean?
$200 per month. Insurance was, for the year, was $600, for the whole year. Maintenance for the vehicle, we'll just put in 1,000 is what we spend. I mean, it was new, so everything's kind of already up to speed, but you're going to think oil changes, tire rotation, and what if we run over a nail and we have to put on some new tires? Gas. Well, how much are we going to spend in gas?
About 150 a month, 200 a month.
Yeah, well, because of what we're doing here, we're spending. I travel a lot. Okay, I travel a lot. Okay, here we got some bathroom humor. I got gas. I got lots of gas. Okay, just put it out there. But we're talking about from my vehicle.
Right.
All right. So gas.
Yes.
Because I'm traveling, I drove to LA this weekend, did a presentation there. A month before that, I went to Salt Lake City. Then we've, well, I flew to Spokane.
Yes.
But but there's sometimes we drive, sometimes we fly. So we're putting about in the gas bill, $250 a month. Not unheard of. Okay, so let's start adding some of these up. I'm gonna need some audience participation, so grab out your
What do
calculators
you
here.
want to do?
What's 200 times 12?
2,400.
2,400. The 600 is for the year, we have that, we have the annual maintenance at 1,000. 250 times 12.
3,000.
All right. All right, so what is it going to cost me on J-Team just to use this vehicle? Right, we accounted for everything, we got the lease payment, we got insurance, gas, maintenance, right?
Right.
What are we paying? 3, 4,
7.
5, 6, 7. We got $7,000 in expenses, approximately. Okay, now, the government allows us to deduct 0.545 per mile driven. Well, let's talk about how many miles did I drive in a year? Try 24,000 miles. Now, some of you are like, wow, I maybe go half that in a year, maybe. Yeah, but, maybe you're making half as much as I am.
Thank you.
I don't know. I'm willing to drive the miles and talk to the people. I go up to Phoenix. I'm in Tucson here. I'm in Sierra Vista today. So I'm putting a lot more miles on the vehicle, right? But it's a company vehicle. This is the whole purpose of it, right? So let's get 0.545 miles times 24,000. What do we get as a number there?
24,000 times 0.45. What is
All right,
that?
if you have to take off your shoes and use your fingers and toes, it's okay.
That's gonna be about 12.
Is about
13.
180.
All right, so this means that I as a tax writer, I can get reimbursed $13,180 for my expenses. Wait a minute, think about that. So it costs me, right, $7,000, but with my write-offs, I get reimbursed $13,180. Can I have somebody please subtract 13,180 or subtract 7,000 from 13,000? So
6,180. Wow.
$6,180. All right, now let's divide that by 12, please. What do we get?
Five,
6,180 divided by 12. What is that?
515. Nobody has to talk to you.
Okay, $515 per month. What's this mean? Folks, here's what this means.
Oh my goodness.
Folks, I have a vehicle that costs $15,000. Right, that was the cost.
Thank you.
Wise Guys and Ties gets to deduct that from its cost, while it makes $2,400 per year on this lease for however long. It keeps renewing the lease. It can every year make the lease go up if it needs to. Over here, I have another business that I own, J-Team Fidelity. It has the truck. Now, if you look at it, it has to account for the lease, the insurance, the maintenance, the gas. Wise Guys and Ties does have a lien for $15,000 on the title of the truck. So, and they are co-insured. So, I mean, we're doing this the right way. But when you look, I mean, and I'm using this vehicle, I'm marketing, putting magnets out there, letting people know that I do property management, I do business credit consulting. There's a lot that I'm doing here. So, as you see everything that's going on, I have, with the miles that I'm driving between Arizona to California to Utah to Texas, all the way up to even Boise, Idaho,
Yes.
right? Driving all over the place. $24,000 on it.
Yes, Carl.
My
that's-
expenses with maintenance and everything, this is conservative because sometimes when you drive as many miles as I do, you got to change the tires out a couple of times a week. Throw another 1,000 on there and be safe. But we're just saying 7,000. So at 24,000 miles driven, and the government reimbursing me 13,180, that means when you calculate it out, I drive my vehicle for my business and I get paid by the government at the end of the year $515 a month to drive my vehicle and run my business. I ask you, does anybody have a better car payment right now than me? I'm getting paid $515 a month
Yes.
by Uncle Sam to have a small business, right? I mean, my business benefits so many people, and I'm incentivized by Uncle Sam to do this. Anybody have a better car payment for a brand new mid-sized truck than me?
Carl said no.
Nobody has a better payment, right? Hey, that's just understanding
You gotta
the
own the
tax
business,
system.
folks.
You need to understand that because, hey, I needed a new truck. And hey, I could have just kept that all in one business. There's nothing wrong with that. Just think about, because the truck, I get to write off $15,000 for the truck, and I'm also writing off $13,000 over here. I mean, think about it. How much does this truck cost? In the end, I mean, if getting not only a free truck, but getting paid for the gas,
Yes.
getting paid for the insurance.
Yes.
I mean, think about that.
Wow. Wow.
I could keep that business, but hey, why not, since it's such a huge, if you understand how it works, why not just give one business the tax write-off for the vehicle and then allow my other business to get an additional write-off? Because J-Team Fidelity, which is my other business, is making money and it needs tax write-offs.
Sounds like you work for the government.
No, I leverage.
500 a month. No.
I leverage the government, right? Wealthy folks know how the system works.
Wow.
Let's talk about banking. Right? Anybody have a loan? Home loan? Student loan?
Leave those loans
Auto
alone.
loan?
Yeah.
Personal loan?
Perfect.
Loan.
Wish to leave you alone.
Loan. All right, hey folks. I'm gonna go over a small section of velocity banking here, but I just want to make a point on something. For those who don't understand or know a little, if they're like velocity banking, what's that? Well, we do a whole 2-hour training on that, but
Right.
just
So you got
now,
a student loan.
let me ask you something. Fresh water at sea level freezes at 32 degrees. True or false?
True. Centigrade.
Oh, is that true or is that false?
True.
False.
Well,
That would be false. Folks.
Did you say freezes?
Yeah, 32 degrees Celsius.
Oh.
Right? No, that didn't work, did it?
Fahrenheit.
Yeah, no, 32 degrees Fahrenheit. Right?
Yes. Perfect.
It doesn't
That's where
matter
it freezes.
when we're looking at temperature if we're talking about Celsius or Fahrenheit. Right? Because let me ask you something. Is 6 degrees Celsius hotter or colder than 32 degrees Fahrenheit?
Is it,
Which is hotter?
is it hotter or colder?
6.
6 degrees.
How is that possible? How can it be a 6? That's a 6. That's a 32. That doesn't make sense. 32 is bigger. But you want to know what? It absolutely is hotter. This is hotter. Right? I do this because this is an easy way to understand the difference between amortized interest, and simple. Right? Two different scales, but when the bank tells you what your interest rate is, they just say you're getting your loan at 6%. Right? Your credit cards, they say, hey, credit cards at 22%.
What's going on, Dwayne?
Like, whoa. We don't want to use that credit card. That's expensive. Right? But here's the point I want you to see. Just like, is there a formula that allows you to convert from Fahrenheit to Celsius and vice versa to go from Celsius back to Fahrenheit?
Sure
Yeah.
is.
Well, we can also convert simple interest to amortized. And once people understand what this is, then they realize that they're overpaying for the loans. And then we can begin to teach them the velocity banking principles, which I don't have time to do today. But let's just see how much an amortized interest loan is at 6%. Right? So here, let me show you the formula. This is not exact. This is just to give you a ballpark. Okay, so you take 6 and you multiply it by 2. What do you get?
12.
All right. And you take your 12 and then you multiply that by 10. What do you get?
120.
120. 120%. Right? That's how to convert from amortized to simple interest. Now, that's not exact. The exact calculation would have it at 116% simple interest. A 6% amortized loan is actually 116% simple interest. However, do you see how this very simple calculation, you can take your amortized interest rate, whatever it is. Let's say you have 5%. Well, I'm going to multiply that by 2, right? That gives me 10. And then I'm going to multiply that by 10. That's 100. That's 100%. Imagine someone saying, congratulations, you just qualified for 100%, interest rate.
I feel like, what you talking about?
You call mom and dad and let them know.
That's our time. No, but none of us would celebrate that. But How many of us thought like, hey, they lowered interest rates went down. I can now get my mortgage at 5%.
Yes.
And the rest of us are thinking, oh, so instead of paying 116%, you're going to pay 98% simple interest. Wow, that's special, right? So if you had the ability to pay off your loan at 22% simple interest, or pay off your loan at 116% simple interest, what would you choose? I mean, isn't that kind of like a stupid question? Do I want to pay more to rent the money, or do I want to pay less to rent the money?
Right.
You see, the banking system has got people not understand, because they know in high school everybody learns about simple interest and credit cards run on simple interest. But I don't know which class in high school or in college for that matter where they teach you amortized interest. Maybe your statistics class would teach amortized interest.
Bank math.
But guys,
Restricted
here's the
to
deal.
bankers.
All right, when wealthy people understand this system here, so now I'm not saying wealthy people don't use loans. Don't get me wrong here, but am I ever going to stay in a loan for the life of the loan? Does that make sense? To pay 116% interest when if it's possible to convert my loans into lines of credit, I'll do that every time.
Every time.
In fact, if you need to learn more about it, there happens to be a velocity banking guru in the room.
In the room.
CJ Wallace. Just kidding. All right, folks. Now, Red isn't really erasing very well on this. So let's talk about business
Pay
here.
your home off in 5 to
So-
7 years.
Business. Man, there's so much we could talk about business. First of all, just start a business. Who in the room has a business?
Me.
So 1, 2. Okay, 3, 4. Okay, so see, the rest of you, how many are you going to start a business?
Woo! That's right, man.
All right, we got
Good
some
job.
people starting some businesses here.
got
Okay,
another.
so
I'm starting
here's the
two
point.
businesses.
Well, you see that you start a business and you get access to all those write-offs. That's amazing. So business, first of all, write-offs.
Good job, Carl.
Write-offs, right? I don't really like this green marker. It's killing me. Okay, so business gets you write-offs. And then I want to talk about, you only get access to write-offs if you're generating cash flow. Cash flow. Right? So that means my business has to make money. Now, when we start a business, that's the goal of every business. I want to make some money.
Yes.
Who here wants to start a business and not make money?
There you go.
No, no. But okay, how many people started a business and it's not making any money?
All right. All right.
Oh, we got quiet in this room really quick.
You're crickets.
All right. So we obviously need to make money. We need to master our craft. Maybe we need some marketing strategies. There's a lot of things we can do. We can enhance our education, understand our competition. There's so many things that we can do to bring new products to bear. But ultimately, what is the quickest way for us to start infusing our businesses with cash?
The quickest way.
Referrals.
Perfect.
Referrals.
Referrals.
Because if you're not making money, is there some business next door to you making money?
Yes.
If you're not making money, but CJ's making money,
Yes.
could you refer somebody to CJ? Right, CJ's a realtor. CJ's he
YouTube
does
creator,
business credit.
Author. Real estate
Oh
investing.
yeah, your children's books are hilarious. I love them. All right, thank you
Yeah.
so much.
Yep.
Okay, so referrals. What referrals are businesses looking for? Every business is looking for 3 referrals. Right? People, property, and money. I really hate that marker. Both of your green markers, I'm sorry, but they died. Well, here, let's see if we can get this going. People, property, and money. Oh, don't worry about it. I'll flip the board over to the backside. Right? That's what every business is looking for. You're like, what? What business is looking? You might think, is the dentist office looking for property? You better believe it. If the rent's really high and if they're bringing in enough money, are they looking to expand, get their own office? Sure. I mean, every business is looking for people. We always need new customers. Money. Every business needs capital. It's a lifeblood, right? We can be invested. We could have our money stored in equity, but it's not liquid, right? So every business needs these three things. So here's the goal. You need to immediately add some cash flow to your business model. Start getting into referrals. Doesn't matter what business you're in or what business. Find out who's in business, who's making money, and what do they need. That's it. I'm in the real estate business. I fix and flip properties. I buy rentals. Guess what? If you happen to find me a good property for fix and flipping or for a rental, I'm interested. I might pay you for the referral. I mean, I will pay you for the referral if we close, right? That's what I mean by might. But businesses pay for referrals all the time. If you're in marketing and you're marketing for properties, right? We buy ugly houses, right? I buy houses cash. You ever heard that? That's some wholesaler out there just trying to find some referrals. Referral business is the quickest and easiest way. Here with the Renatus company, Real Estate Investing Education, they have an amazing referral program where you refer somebody and they enroll in this education, and you, as the person who made the referral, you can get half of the tuition. That's amazing.
That's right.
I'm telling you, when you learn to make, I mean, for my business, right? I do business credit.
There you go.
You refer somebody to me, or let's say you refer somebody to CJ.
Yes.
CJ will pay you $200 for a referral.
That's right.
I mean,
That's right.
that's quick $200.
I've done it
So you
before.
think about, wait a minute, what does it cost to work with CJ? He sometimes charges $2,000, $2,500, $3,000. I have to think, well, if I just refer 10 of my friends, I get $2,000 off.
Right.
I mean, oh man, referrals. This is how you can start growing a business. And then if you start referring, say, properties. So if I found you, Dad, I know you do flips. If I found you your next property and the numbers work and you know you're going to make $100,000 in profit, do you think you might be able to pay a $10,000 referral fee to the person who found you that property?
Yes, I would.
Yeah.
Of course.
I mean, imagine, do you have to do the work? No, he's going to do all the work. Do you have to invest any of the capital? No.
No.
But did you have to, I mean, so people look at, oh man, I'm not making any money and I don't have any resources. My
All around
credit's
you.
shot. I can't do anything. Well, if you have time, you can go and door knock, right? Because there's plenty of properties out there that are great deals, but us investors, we're not connected to the sellers. We don't know the owners. Could you find that for us?
Yes.
There's so many people out there who need business credit, right, CJ?
That's right.
How many people on your YouTube channel need business credit?
Oh my goodness, every last one of them, man.
But how many of
Every-
them have talked to you or me, right? There's so many people out there, they watch and they watch and they watch and they think to themselves,
Yeah.
I know I need to do it, but
Yes.
they're not doing it.
Right.
And they say, oh, I can't afford it. But another 10 people in their life that also need it,
Right.
right? When you start thinking about how am I going to pay for things?
Right.
How about paying for things? Why don't you stop focusing on yourself and complaining about how hard it is
That's right.
or how things suck and go out and add value to other people's lives?
That's right.
You go out and find out what somebody needs. Oh, you're looking for a house? I know somebody who's selling a house. Oh, you're looking for properties? Right? I know somebody. Oh, you're looking for business credit? I know. If you start getting into the business where you see people who have needs and you go out and fill it, you can create a business model that cash flows.
Yes.
It's so important that you start a business. And then the second thing is your business has to make money. Well, what's the quickest way to start making money? Referrals.
Referrals.
Referrals is the quickest way to start generating some immediate cash flow. All right. So, I mean, I hope you can, business credit. I mean, we get you $50,000 in lines of credit for your business. I mean, that's liquidity right off the in 6 months.
Yes.
You don't even need a social security number. Working with a team like here in Sierra Vista, SDO team, the referral program here, I mean,
Amazing.
they pay $1,000 to $10,000. Hey, you in the back, have you ever made $1,000 to $10,000 in referrals?
Yes,
And so, is a referral business a good strategy?
yeah, I love the nine.
Yes, referrals are awesome. Okay, so we've already covered 3 out of the 5 pillars of wealth. Right? Wealthy people understand how businesses work, right? Because when you start doing referrals, that might be some immediate money as well, but think about the lifelong reputation that you get as a problem solver. And so will people continue to refer back to you?
Yes.
Become the person who's the expert at finding the solution to someone's problem, and people will just bring you people with problems.
Yes.
Bring me your tired, bring me your poor, bring me your huddled masses, yearning to breathe free, right? We'll get them into business credit and real estate investing,
That's right.
education, right? That's what we'll do.
That's right. We'll do that all day long.
As long as you come here legally,
Yes.
right?
Oh,
No jumping ahead. Okay. So, wealth, let's recap.
Taxes,
Taxes,
business,
business.
Woo!
What about real estate?
What up?
Oh, yeah.
Look at that.
Real estate.
Beautiful.
Does somehow, I always like to ask this. Are you a real estate investor?
Yeah.
Are you a real estate investor? Are you?
Yes, I
Hey,
is.
YouTube. Are you a real estate investor?
Huh? We got
Some are
all
like,
these real estate
no,
investors
but I'd
on
like
here.
to be. I'm going to challenge
Holla out
some.
yes if you're a real estate investor. That's right.
Everybody's a real estate
Yes,
investor.
everyone.
Everybody is. Here's
There you go. The pink.
Here's the part that you need to understand to distinguish. Some of you are investing in somebody else's real estate, while the rest of you are investing in your own real estate. But everybody here and everybody on YouTube is investing in real estate. All right? There's a lot. Every dollar. What's the first bill that you make sure it gets paid? Rent or mortgage, right? Right? So you're either first thing.
It's okay, man.
First
We
thing
can
in the
teach you.
month, you're investing in somebody else's real estate, or if you're like me, next month, or tomorrow, what's tomorrow?
Payday!
My 5 rentals come in. Yeah. Right? So I do fix and flips. I do buy and hold strategies. But what I'm going to show you is a strategy where I acquired a property at auction and turned around, fixed it up, sold it to the end buyer in 35 days. Is that cool or cool?
That's
And I
cool.
did that with none of my own money or credit. Is that cool?
That is cool.
All right, so we're talking about a house where ARV is $180,000. All right, ARV. What's ARV?
After repair value.
Yes, it's not like the Avengers, Revenge.
Audacious recreational
I
vehicle.
don't know, I got Avengers right now in my mind. This movie was so exciting. Okay, ARV, after repair value, 180,000. But we had ACQ, right? ACQ, acquisition cost, right? $147,000, right? $147,000. Now, a lot of times people, they sum up. So a lot of times in your acquisition costs, you're assuming that there was an initial closing cost, if you paid realtors, the taxes, HOA transfer fees, all of that went into the initial purchase. They typically just sum up in the acquisition cost. Because when you go to sell it, you're going to have to close all over again and pay those things anyway. So it's kind of confusing to write it all out twice. However, I purchased this house at auction. I was the one bidding on it. It's pretty cool being at auction, bidding. You know, it's like, I don't know. It's like, I feel like it's sort of like Texas Hold'em, right? I got my clipboard and I know my numbers and I know how high I could go, but I don't know their numbers. And so it's just a standoff and I'm bidding, they're bidding, I'm bidding back and forth. it's just cool. And then you see them slow down, or then they try to do different strategies where maybe they'll do a real high bid jump, and then, you know, anytime somebody tries to come over top of me and maybe say jump by $5,000,
Yes.
then I like to go, plus 100. Like it's just like so aggravating. So then they feel I'm pot committed and I got to keep going, and then before you know it, they just have to drop off. But here's why I can go so high, because you got to factor in, you got to consider what are your money costs, right? You got to factor that in. What are your holding costs,
There we go.
right? You have to factor in what your, closing costs are going to be. You have to know all of these costs, and based off of who's your contractor, and how much does it cost to borrow money? What is your hard money lender charging you? 1 point origination, 2 points origination? Is it 14% interest? And then is there another point on the back side? I mean, you got to know this stuff. You got to know how expensive the cost of money is. And you see, it comes to hard money, and there's all these points, and what's a point anyway? And
Right.
so what's the point of points? And so I just said, you know what? I'm just going to raise all my own money
Yes.
through self-directed IRA funds. So my money cost ends up being 0. And you have to factor in holding costs. What does it cost for power? What is the HOA cost? What's electric? What's water? Insurance. You got to figure out. You got to have a vacant insurance policy in there while you're working on it. These are all costs that you have to factor in. But, folks, what if you start with your buyer already in place
Woo!
before you purchase?
Look at that, man. That's winning before you play right there.
Is that easy to figure out what my holding costs are going to be? When my
Yes.
buyer is already in place and their funds are already approved and guaranteed, and everything's locked up because they're paying cash?
Yes.
Well, holding costs, big fat 0, right? Because I sold it. The way it happens is, acquired it, in the second week of the month and sold it in the next week. That the actual holding costs were built into the close.
Yes.
I mean, think about that. Oh, but you know what we don't have up here? There's also rehab, right? We also got to figure in rehab. I didn't have that in there. All right? Rehab.
Gotta have the rehab.
So usually I put the rehab like either before or after the money, right? But so the rehab cost was $11,000. $11,000 for $11,000 for what? We had to put in some new carpet, we had to put in new paint, had to do some appliances, some fixtures. All right, now that's just, it was pretty minimal. I mean, it wasn't really that bad. The house was not in bad shape. Nothing needed to be gutted. It was not bad at all. The house was in great shape. So $11,000 into the rehab. And here's what's cool is, let's see, so that means I have $2,000 into my close. I mean, think about that. $2,000. I mean, wait a minute. I mean, you got to factor in 3% for the buyer's agent, 3% for the selling agent, title, escrow, closing,
Yep.
HOA transfer fee, all of that, right? Folks,
Watch this.
because I already had my buyer in place and because it was a cash buyer, I didn't need a realtor. They didn't need a realtor. I didn't need a realtor. All right. I didn't need the appraisal, right? All of these things went off of just the comparative market analysis that was run. Because, I do have a realtor, right? But a realtor, if you have a good one, they'll just run you your comps for free, right? So I was able to, get the value of this house. It can be determined 2 ways: price per square foot, or by property sold within the last 3 months, adjusting for square footage. Either way, you come to the same price. So $180,000, pretty much top of the market. But
Keisha, you are.
this is what's great is, so $2,000 is just the title, escrow, and holding fee. It was a hold open policy. Now, I didn't have closing up here, right? But I immediately started opening title, because when you purchase at auction, do you have to pay realtor fees?
Nope.
Nope.
Do you have to pay title escrow closing fees?
No.
You just have a filing fee of like $18.
Wow.
Isn't that simple? Everybody should buy their houses at auction, right? So,
And then sell them in 35 days.
and then
Make a
sell them in
30,000.
35 days, right? So look at this. So at the end, that's $20,000 in profit made in 35 days. Now, because I had no money cost, that means that my investors and we got to split the money. So I have no money into this. So is that okay if in 35 days I just get paid $10,000? Is that good or?
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Right?
That's good.
I mean, what's my ROI on this? I have no money into it, no
Infinity.
credit. Yeah, an infinite return, right? I just got $10,000. Now my investors, think about my investors for a
In
minute.
30 days.
They're using self-directed IRA money. They're retirement accounts. And we're not going to go over the stock market and all that, but whose retirement account right now grew by $10,000 in the last 35 days? Right?
Right.
The average person did not experience that.
Did not experience
Yeah,
it.
the
Out
average
of the
person
millions.
doesn't even experience that over a year, right? When you're first starting.
Right.
So look at the power of real estate investing. That's just a fix and flip, right? But you have to, were there challenges that came here? You bet, right? But I had to be educated. I had to know what the value was. I had to know what I could afford to pay in my rehab. Because I didn't have any money costs, I didn't have any holding costs, and I already had my buyer in place, I already knew that I could outbid anybody at auction on this house because I knew that they have money costs, they have holding costs, they have higher closing costs because they're using realtors, right? So I knew, it's like, you ever go into any kind of game or sport you're playing and you already know you won, but nobody else knows yet? but it's like if you were playing cards with somebody, right? And you pick up your cards and you see 4 aces, right?
Yes.
You know, I mean, you already have the winning hand,
Yes.
right? When you're educated, that's what it's like. It's like I walked into the auction that day and I already knew that I was getting the house. I just didn't know if I was making $20,000 in profit or $15,000 in profit, but I already knew I won. Right? Folks, if you get educated, you can know that too. Which is why we're talking about now education, the 5th and final pillar. Education. Right? I mean, we got to agree that everybody's paying for education.
right.
Taxes go to paying for public education. They also fund public colleges. A lot of us go to college and we either borrow money or we get a scholarship. There's so much money flowing through education. Some of us go to trade schools. Some of us pay for auxiliary education to become a realtor or a contractor. Right? So we all understand the value of education. Does anybody ever, when they're thinking, they're a little kid, and they're going, one day I want to be a scientist. Then they think, well, think about that for a minute. You're going to go to school for probably the better part of 12 years, and you're going to rack up, $250,000 in debt. And then a person says, I want to be a scientist. Well, that costs too much, so I'm not going to do it. I mean, does anybody think that way?
Wow.
No, you want to be a scientist. You're going to pay whatever the cost is to do it. Hey, I want to be a real estate investor. Someone says, well, that's going to cost you, $2,000 to get educated. Oh, that's too much money. I don't want to be a real estate investor now. I mean, no, come on. That's just as ridiculous.
Yes.
It's going to cost $100,000 to be a real estate investor. I don't want to do that. That's too expensive. No, I mean, come on. Education. Okay, face it. There are 2 ways to learn, right? There are 2 ways to learn. One way to learn is you go out, you experience something, then you try to learn from it. That's the easiest way to learn. Well, I don't know if it's the easiest, but it's the most popular, right? It definitely is the most popular,
Yes.
right? It's what everybody does, but it is the most expensive and it is the hardest way to learn, right? That's what I mean. Easy in terms of it's easy for everybody to make that choice. But think about it. If you have to go out and experience something and then try to learn from it, and then go out and experience something again and try and learn from it, you have to build up a lot of experiences before you gain any wisdom from what you have experienced. That's called the school of hard knocks. Right? Very expensive.
Yeah.
The other way to learn is to go out and plan for or learn from somebody else's experience,
Right.
and then go out with that body of knowledge gained and apply the wisdom that was already learned from somebody else's experience and go out and make better choices. Two ways to do that. But do people give away their knowledge and their wisdom for free? No. So you got to go pay for that.
Right.
But wait a minute. How expensive is the school of hard knocks?
Ooh.
I mean, and does anybody ever really learn from that? You could spend your whole life and you finally figure out at the age of 80, oh, now I know what I want to be when I grow up. Right? Well, how does that help? You've already spent your whole life learning what not to do.
Yeah,
Right?
you have to have hindsight.
Right? But if you can learn from those who went before you, right? Those who don't learn history are doomed to repeat it. Right? Those who don't learn from the history of the market, from the history of real estate investing, from the history of business credit, are doomed to repeat it. So folks, that's what I'm talking about. Because we all pay for education. It is one of the major pillars of wealth. Everyone's going to pay for education. Some of us think to ourselves, I can learn it on YouTube. You want to know what? You can. But you don't know what you don't know. So you can only go out and learn what somebody on a YouTube video put out there. But did they cover everything that's going to happen in your deal? See, real estate investing, each deal we do is unique. It's as unique as the real estate investor that does it, right? You got to do your own due diligence and check this stuff out. Right? You can't rely on my word, CJ's word, right? We can guide you and give you some point in the right direction, but it's up to you to get educated. It's up to you to know what you're doing.
Nothing's typical.
So, you look, yeah, it's a good point, Dad. You look at my results over here, $20,000 made in 35 days. That's not typical, okay? That doesn't normally happen, right? But you want to know something? What I've also experienced, though, the more I get educated, the more that I know what's happening, I keep getting luckier and luckier and luckier. Right? Is that just
A correlation?
Am I just a really lucky guy? Or is there a correlation between the fact that I'm educated and I know an opportunity when I see one and we can pull the trigger and take advantage, right? So, but yeah, results aren't typical, as I like to say, but then again, who the heck wants to be typical? I don't want to be. Right. So, education, right? The Renatus education. Let's talk about that, right? What does it cost to be a part of Team Leas Deo here, right? It doesn't cost anything to be a part of this team, right? But there is a bar, there's a standard, right? To work with Team Leas Deo, you got to be competent. You got to know what you're doing. You can't show up and then just be like this adult baby, like, I don't know anything. Teach me everything. I don't know. Give me everything. Give me your time. Give me your money, your resources. And I'm not going to contribute anything. I just want you to tell me how to do everything. Who here wants to take on somebody like that? I mean, there's a lot of people that think, oh, I'm just gonna show up and I'm gonna find somebody. I'm just gonna say, hey, let me come and I'll somehow try and help, right? But if you don't contribute anything, you're of no help. If all you do is ask me questions, that means you're interrupting me all day from doing the work that I could be doing to answer your question. Right? I mean, I want to be helpful, but let me take a step back. When I came into the world of real estate investing, it was that way for me. There were a lot of people doing it, and I wanted somebody to teach me. But guess what? Nobody had the time. And if I wasn't willing to part with something that I had a value to give to them, so that we could have an exchange where they give me something that I deem as valuable, then I wasn't going to learn anything. So there's a lot of ways. You can find a way, like I talked about the referral business. If somebody wants to bring me actual properties that I can close on, they're going to get my time. If you're going to bring me people that are clients that want to get into my properties, buy my properties, or they need business credit and I can help them, right? You're going to get my time, right? I will exchange value based off of what you bring to the table. So if you feel like, well, I don't have any money, I don't have any credit, I don't have anything. Well, then this is your first call to action. You need to go out and find what it is you bring a value to the table. Everybody has something. And if you don't have something, go get something.
There you go.
You can go and walk around a neighborhood and knock on every door and find out whose house is for sale, right? You can go out, you can meet people, right? You can find out who's interested in what, right? These are things that are possible. You can go out and and start filling the needs. But to get educated, that's the key here. This is what we're talking about. You could bring, one of the things you could bring to the table is knowledge. Let me tell you something. I deal with people who have a successful doctor, many successful business owners. And you know what? They don't have time. They have money that's sitting in bank accounts losing money and they need help.
Yes.
Right? I got myself educated and now I bring knowledge. I know what to do. I also know how to put a team together. So I don't have to show up as somebody who says I have the knowledge, but I have no track record. Let me put a team together and show you through my team what we can do. Because my team has bookkeepers, CPAs, real estate attorneys. We have contractors, realtors. We have title and escrow. We have home inspectors. Right? We have insurance. Thank you. There's so many different people that we have on our team that we put together. So when somebody starts working with me, we already have a guy or a gal that does what you need. But I couldn't have done that if I didn't get educated with Renatus. And what does it cost to get educated with Renatus? Anywhere from $2,000 up to $20,000, right?
Right.
And there's plenty of times where I've gone over examples and I go in and I show you it's all, these are live classes that happen up in Salt Lake City. You can take the classes live. You can meet the practitioner instructors, right? The people who actually do what they teach.
Yes.
You can meet them live. You can stream the classes live as they're happening. I show this all the time. Today, we're running short on time, so I'm not going to go into that. But again, if you're interested in seeing a demonstration of that, especially here in Sierra Vista, come talk to Karen, come talk to John. They will, right here in this office, they'll open up the back office and they'll show you how the education works. The instructors, how we do weekly group coaching, and we do, there's so many amazing things
Yes.
that we do. But the education, just so you know, is broken into two parts, right? There is essentials and AIT. Essentials is like your first and second semester, right? Like your freshman year.
Yeah.
Teaches you the foundations of everything you need to do, right? Basically, this teaches you how to keep your wealth, how to form an LLC, how to take advantage of those tax write-offs, right? You need to know how to start the business. Right over here on the AIT side, this is where we teach you how to build, right? Build your wealth through exit strategies such as fix and flip, how to do all kinds of things from buy and holds. Right? In the AIT, you're going to see that they fix and flip and buy and hold, family and commercial and seller finance. I mean, and the list goes on and on and on. So what I just want to show you right now, just real quick, is how we go from where you're at today to being a $20,000 profit over there, right? Let's just put an equal sign. How do we get from where I'm at today to where I'm over there making $20,000? Well, it starts by, I have to get in the education. So today is not day one, okay? Today is when you're in the education, right? But you get into your essentials, and right off the bat, you're going to have to take 10 classes. 10 classes. Not bad. But these aren't short little YouTube videos. These are 8-hour-long classes, folks. 8-hour-long classes, right? There's 10 tests.
10 of them.
10 tests. What's passing grade?
100%.
100%. You're right. So, I mean, by the way, I forgot to say, it's like 63 hours, right? 63 hours of learning tax and legal day 1 and 2, personal credit management, self-directed IRAs. You're learning all about how to find properties, how to evaluate properties, how to fund properties, how to put properties under contract when you have no money, no credit, right? Using stuff like subject to, contract for deed, all-inclusive trust deeds, wraps, options. I mean,
Beautiful.
These are just some of the things that we're learning, right? You have to put this together. And on top of that, learning how to negotiate the deal, how to close the deal, the fundamentals of how to put a power team together. What kind of real estate agent do you need?
Right.
Do you need more than one type? Do you need a buyer's agent, a seller's agent, right? Do you need a listing agent? I might need 3 different types of agents, right? What are the right questions to ask? How do I know who's qualified to be on my team and who is not qualified? Because if you're not qualified, you're going to cost me money, right? This is important stuff to learn in the education. On top of that, you're also going to get weekly group coaching.
That's priceless right there.
Weekly group coaching with a Renatus instructor every Tuesday. So like tonight, right after we're done here, right? You could be getting coached by one of the Renatus instructors.
Awesome.
It's powerful because you're going to start taking 63 hours of classes. You think you're going to have a question or two? Maybe?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, isn't it great where you can get once a week, you can start talking to the people that are teaching these classes and get them answered by the instructors? People who their full-time job is not teaching, right? But is doing the real estate that they actually teach, right? What a concept, right? Learning from people who make 6 figures a year in real estate teach you how to do it.
That's right.
Right? Well, once you're done with your essentials, it's time to, do, let's say in this case, do a fix and flip here with the AIT. But now we gotta build. This is all about, building now. Now I don't want to get this confused here. So this is where we're building with the AIT. Now, again, there's another 10 classes, but these ones are a little bit longer, as this is like 78 hours of content, but there's still 10 tests, right? What's the passing grade?
100%.
Because let me ask you something. If you're going to use somebody's self-directed IRA money, and if you make a mistake, like a prohibited transaction, the person who has the account loses all of the money that's in that account. It's immediately liquidated and confiscated. And then on top of that, you get penalized and taxed by the IRS. So do you want somebody who took a class on self-directed IRAs and maybe they got a 70% on self-directed IRAs, or do you want somebody who got 100% that knows what they're doing and knows how to hire the right professionals to take care of it?
100% hands down.
That's what I thought. So if you would expect 100% from somebody working with you, we're going to teach you an education that is going to demand 100% from you as well. And then, of course, at this point, when you're at this level, we're talking about classes that teach you all about mortgages, all about market analysis, all about how to find private and hard money. We're talking about how to fund. When you're putting together a fix and flip, how to structure the whole deal from start to finish. Not only like how to conceptually do it, but the paperwork side, the taxes side, the legal side, right? What about, and then there's 2 classes on rehabbing. When you go and you initially walk a property, what is it you should be looking at? What are like the 4 major things that are like super expensive and could be a deal breaker? Right? You need to know these things. And when you walk a property, how can you estimate what the repairs are going to cost? So then when you do that, then who do you hire? How do you negotiate with the contractor? And when you Maybe it's not just one contractor, but it's a general contractor and multiple subcontractors. How do you set that up? How do you incentivize with a carrot and a stick to make sure that projects get done on time and on budget, or potentially under budget? Right? How do you do that? What is the process that is used? And when it comes time to do jobs, which jobs should be done first? Which jobs can be done at the same time? And which jobs don't even need to be done at all, because that could be part of the negotiation process at the end. Because sometimes we mess up on fix and flips because we put way too much money into the rehab, right? We think we've got to fix every little thing, and you don't. Because some people want to buy a property that's a bit of a fixer-upper. They want to think that they can get a deal. And no matter how beautiful the house is to you, they're going to want to change the paint anyway. They don't like the flooring, they're going to change it anyway. So, there's certain things that, why go all out on something when you can negotiate that and so if you didn't have to put that much money into your rehab, guess how much money you now have to negotiate on the price? I mean, these are things that you've got to learn what is essential that has to be fixed and what can be negotiated. All right.
I have a question.
All questions must be submitted in writing and mailed to my office in Tucson. All right? And we will get back to you within 30, months. So, I'm kidding. Go ahead, ask your question.
I'm just curious on, the first pillar was taxes, and you showed the 1040, the AGI. Is this type of education, can this be tax deductible?
That's a great question. All right, moving on. I'm just kidding. That is a great question. Yes. Education, if you're thinking about it from a tax perspective, of course, this might $2,000 to $20,000. I mean, that is not a cost when you consider that it is a tax write-off, that you're going to use this to make money in real estate. It's going to save you money on taxes. Yes. And then what if you use a referral process with it? Can you make money off of referrals? I mean, I have calculated many times that there's at least 3 or 4 ways that you get your money back tenfold.
Yes.
When you invest, I mean, this is real estate, but do you think investing, if you're going to become a doctor, in education to become a doctor is going to pay itself back in dividend? I mean,
yes.
What's the value of a life that you save? Well, if you get educated in real estate, what's the value in the financial life that you save?
Yes.
Right? Not just yours. But once you know this is the kind of information that can be passed on, right? You could break the cycle of poverty if you knew how to do it.
Yes.
Right? This is an education that unfortunately my folks couldn't give me, because they grew up in the system that said you go to school to get good grades, to eventually go to college to get a job, right? But the problem is along the way you develop so much debt that you're a slave forever to banks, corporations, and the government, right? I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I am looking for my tinfoil hat. No, but if you get educated, you'll know what you're doing, okay? So yes, that was a great segue. But once you're educated and so great, you now know what to do. It's time to get one-on-one coaching. Think about that. Group coaching is great. If group coaching is great, imagine what working one-on-one with a Renatus instructor who's going, if you've never done a deal, you get 6 30-minute sessions with a Renatus coach. Now, this is not somebody who's like, oh, you can do it, believe in yourself, the power of you. No, that's a waste of time. I'm talking about someone who's like, okay, what do you want to do? I want to do a fix and flip. Great, I need you to put together your buyer's list right now. I need you to start coming up now with, I want you to come up with 6 realtors that you can work with, 2 on the buyer side, 2 on the sell side, and 2 listing agents, right? I want you to start putting together your contractor list right now today. You're going to need an HVAC guy. You're going to need a guy for electrical, plumbing. You're going to need a roofing guy, right? I want you to bring these. Yeah, I want you to go research. And you're like, oh my gosh, you got this huge site. What are you going to do? That could take you forever unless you plug into a community. So when somebody starts coaching one-on-one with Renatus, and let me ask the team leader here, if somebody came to you and says, hey, I'm getting coached by Coach Gavin and I gotta find, could you help me find and fill in the boxes here? Right, could you point me here in Sierra Vista to where there's a good contractor? Do you know any realtors around here that I could use? Right? I'm just saying, when you plug.
Pick me.
So here's my point, folks. Not only is this education powerful, life-changing education, but the community, right? If you're online right now, I'm sorry, but you're not experiencing the power of the community. When you have people right here in the community that are realtors, contractors, well, we have multiple realtors here tonight, right? Real estate investors, people who have background in rentals and fix and flips. Hey, I'm in the room. That means you got a finance guy in the room. You need hard money, you need private money, you need self-directed IRA money. Like there's so many resources. When you come to a group that's all educated at the same bar, the same status, and we're all moving in the same direction, and we all bring our own unique talents to, that's where the networking piece comes in. And that's, I think, the most powerful part. Yes, you can get educated. Yes, you can know how to do this, and you can get coached, but to have the community and all of the resources that you can take advantage of, it's amazing, because all of the education in the world doesn't mean anything if you don't do this last part here. You have to take action. Take action. I mean, how many of us procrastinate? Don't put off answering that question. Answer me now. How many of us, procrastinate? Right? I mean, think about this.
I'll get back to you.
You need to think about it a little bit more. Anybody have analysis paralysis? Well, I'm really just trying to kind of think, right? We can think forever about something. We can analyze a deal to the point where, that deal was sold 2 weeks ago. Move on. No, you got educated, you know what to do. It's time to take action, right? And with this education, by the way, when you buy it, you have lifetime. Listen, this board is getting filled with all the stuff I'm writing. Lifetime access. This is not, some people, there's an education program and you got access to it. Like you go to college, right? You've got access to all your materials for a semester. What, 3 months? If you need to take that course again or go back and access that information, are they just going to give that to you, or you got to go pay for the class?
Well, you sold the book back.
Yeah, you sold the book back. Yeah. Or you got together with a group of people to buy one book and then you made photocopies, right? Yeah. I went to college. I know it's up. You know what? Some people will buy the photocopies. Great new business, right? We're talking about starting a new business. Photocopying your textbooks. Yeah, that's slightly illegal though, so don't do it. Something about copyright laws. I don't know. All right, lifetime access. So when strategies change, when laws change, and because this is a live education and the content is always updated to what's going on right now today, because our world is always changing with the laws and the market, don't you want an education that changes with you? Don't you want to enroll in an education that you don't have to keep paying for? You just pay for it one time and you own it, right? For the life of the company. All right, take action. So how do we do that? Well, you just got to go out and make 100 offers. 10 people will probably, want to negotiate with you. You'll get 3 people to sign and eventually close on 1. Now that's either super exciting or really depressing when you look at that stat. You have to make 100 offers to have 10 people negotiate with me, to get 3 people to sign, to only close on 1 deal. Mm-hmm. Well, that's the stats. That's the stats.
That's right.
Right? But if you're making 100 offers, how many properties are you looking at?
Thousands.
At least 1,000, couple thousand. Mm-hmm. Who has the time to look at a couple thousand properties?
Right.
Well, if you got no money and you got no credit and you got no resources, you got nothing but time. So go look at those properties, right? And bring it back to us and get a referral fee. No, but if you're serious about this, how do you look at these properties? You got to cut that time out because 10 people will negotiate with you. Look, if I made 100 offers and 100 people said yes, is there a problem there? Does that mean, man, I nailed it?
That's
I made 100 offers and 100 people said yes. I'm doing good. I didn't even get educated. I know. No, what does that mean? That means I offered too much. If you're sitting there and you're like, oh, looking at the property, and then I'll offer you, 100,000 for it. They say sold. You're like immediately thinking, where's my escape clause? Hold on, I left my pen in the car. Right? No, you.
I got it. Like,
You definitely don't want to. You don't want to offer too much.
Right.
So if I make 100 offers and only 10 people say that they'll negotiate with me, that means I probably came in lower than what 90 people were hoping for. Now, of those 10 people, when we're negotiating and we just can't quite seem to come to terms, right? I get about 3 of them that will actually, we finally negotiate. They ink the deal, we sign it, take it down to title and escrow, and now we're off to the races. And we go and get the home inspection done, we get the appraisal done. Ooh, that appraisal didn't come back as high as I thought it would. That home inspection found that this house is a meth house. Ooh, that's going to affect my numbers here. Well, if you were educated and you have the right contingency clauses in your contract, here's what you do. You back out of that deal. Whoops, I don't want to step in that mess, right? And what you do is you back right into the deal that makes you $20,000, right? That's what an educated person does. Now, if these are just 3 deals that are awesome, but you only raised enough capital to do 1 deal, what are you going to do to buy that off of you? And, make a wholesale fee. That's good for you. But do you want to do it the right way or the wrong way?
Right way.
Are there illegal wholesales?
Ooh,
My
yes.
realtors in the room.
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. So there's a right way to do it and a wrong way. Make sure you're educated and know how to do it the right way. But how do we cut down the time? Because this seems like that's going to take an awful long time to do that. We cut the time down by using Renatus iOS. Renatus iOS. Because this software, here's what's cool about this software. I use this software every day. I'm not joking.
Yes.
I use this software every day. Because you know about how I made $10,000 today? Right?
Awesome.
The software was working for me. I had it working so that I could go do a Nerf Dart Gun war with my boys. The software finds me when people to buy your properties. You need properties to find, or you need a list of people who have money and want to lend to you to do your deal. I got educated and I know what I'm looking for, but I also got this really awesome Renatus iOS phone app that I just go through and, instead of me having to ask a contractor or 2 to come and take a look at the house and then they'll get back with me later today to tell me their bid. Yeah, just cut all them out. I got educated. I know what I'm looking for. I look at it on my phone, and why not I just negotiate right then and there with the seller? Oh, and hey, I happen to carry purchase contracts with me wherever I go. Wow. So, I actually don't carry the purchase contract anymore in paper form. Come on, who does that? There's this great program out there. It's called DocuSign. Love it.
Love it. Yes.
Go ahead and already have your documents already pre-signed. Just say, just tap your finger there, and here, tap your finger here. Hey, it's great doing business with you. And then, you got your contract signed, and then you go, and you don't even have to print them out. Yes. You now just send those off to title and escrow, and then you're off to the races.
Yeah.
How cool is that?
That's super cool.
Is that true?
Yes.
Can that be done, CJ?
That can be done.
I'm telling you, technology is a beautiful thing.
Yes.
So, look at what happens here. When you get educated, when you have the systems, when you have the community in place, you can take education and you can use it to get $20,000. So what does it cost? This is the typical point where I now talk about that you would get. This is a tax write-off, baby. It bears repeating, right? and you get money from the real estate you're gonna make. Think about that. So, everybody's gonna pay for education. But if you wanna go out and do it on your own and watch a YouTube video and, you know, and set up your entity through LegalZoom and, you know, you wanna do those things, you can, right? I mean, just because this education is gonna teach you how to do things profitably for less money and make more money and be a complete tax write-off and help you build your referral business, you don't have to pay for that. You could go out there and figure this out on your own. Because, you know, I know you're already trying, you've already tried that, and you probably still will already try that. But for those of you who are sick and tired of being sick and tired, you're like, you know what? It's time for me to make myself and my business a priority. I do need to get educated. I have been trying to use the school of hard knocks and it's just too expensive. I want to get educated. 2,000 to 20,000. Is it worth it? Yeah.
Super worth it.
Think about what I saved in taxes my first year. Think about the money I made in 35 days on one flip. Okay, folks, there's no shortage of dreamers out there. All right, we talk about this all the time. You have a dream, baby, go for it. I got a dream, you got a dream, we all got a dream. Big whoop, right? Here's the difference that sets apart somebody who's napping to somebody who's making money, is they go out and they take action on their dream, right? Stop sitting on the sidelines. Make yourself a priority and do it today. There's only a shortage of people who are willing to take action. And if that's you in this room, get back with the person who invited you here today, right? If you're on YouTube, get back with CJ Wallace. Because you know what? I'm going to bring him up right now. I'm going to let him give a testimony on what this education, these 5 pillars of wealth, have meant to him and his business. CJ Wallace, successful real estate investor. This guy's done it. If you want a guy that's done a little bit of everything, this is your guy, right? He's been in the military, he's been worked in fast food, he's worked in communications. He's got some top secret business that he can't tell me because he'd have to kill me if he did, right? He's a realtor, real estate investor. He's in business credit. He helps people, he coaches velocity banking. He helps people eliminate massive amounts of their debt in a fraction of the time. But ultimately, what is he? He's a problem solver. He's a servant leader. And I'd like to have him come up and just share from his heart what this has meant to him. So please welcome to the front row, CJ.
Listen, a lot of you already know my story, where we came from. And I would like to say this, okay? I'd like to say that right now, it's about you. When you first heard about me on YouTube, you saw the velocity banking, you saw the real estate investing education that we both have given you for free. And many of you, it's already changed your life, right? I remember there was a person on here that said, hey, I paid off a $148,000 house, right? Because of the velocity banking method, because of the methods that you have taught me, CJ, thank you, right? Well, look, folks, you didn't get that with the price at all. So can you imagine, right, how much you would gain if you invested in yourself, right? Invest in a team, me, that's going to be helping you, that's going to be there every step of the way in your real estate investing, okay, in your business credit, doing your velocity banking. You know, we need each other, right? We need a community to be there for one another. A lot of us have already gone through the programs, right? You've gone through this program, you've gone through that program, and you're still looking for more. What is that more? A community. Someone who's going to be there, someone who's done a profitable fix and flip, someone who's doing rentals, someone who has that cash flow continually, right? A real person that answers the phone on Saturday, right, from 9 in the morning to 5 Arizona time, and we'll talk to you. I mean, a real person, right, who will be there. And that's what you need. We have teams, folks, from Florida all the way to Texas now, New Mexico, California. I just connected some people with the team down there in California and in Georgia. I want to connect you. Why? Because you've already done the programs. Now you need to get to with someone that works, right? A program that will actually work for you. A one-on-one coach that will show you a checklist. I called him, I know. He'll show you, oh, you want to do a fix and flip? This is what you do. Oh, you want to get into rentals? This is what you do. Oh, you talking about lease options?
CreditWiz at investorpro.org.
There it is right there.
That's the email in front of all that we just showed you. That's what the contact right there. CreditWiz at investorpro.org. Go ahead and reach out. To change is right now, and we'll be here for you, okay? I'm going to go ahead and leave that. Good night, and God bless.
Amen.